try it again. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah. Can you hear me?
Yeah, absolutely. Three prophets.
Huh? This. Oh. Huh? Dirt.
Oh, whoa. Hey now.
Hey now.
And welcome. Yeah, you like that? You like that?
I do.
Little combo of both there. All right, I still hear baby background there. Let's see here. I'm gonna let you kind of guide. So we have what you wanted to go over with the pricing. We have the Moff Gideon, and then we have several buyer pass. So you lead me what you want to do first. And before we dive in, everybody, let's introduce my wonderfully beautiful wife, obviously introduced as the Casey wife.
Hi, everybody. Hi.
And then we have several kids, so keeping them out of the cast the whole time.
Casey kid.
All right, so go first. What do you think we should lead with?
I think we should go with how much you spent in the last year on toys.
Okay, I'll let you lead with that. And obviously, let me preface to anybody watching, I have no idea what my wife is about to say. I've purposely had her hold back the amount just so this could be a true reaction to this. So from that, I would say go ahead and how much did I... And when you're saying from the past year, are we talking about January or are we talking about in a 12-month span?
12-month span from last year, June. I know we're not yet in June, but we're kind of close to it. So let's just say June 1st.
So hold on. You are so good that you went through and actually saw. How do you know when you're seeing the figures that I got that one in June?
I've been recording. Like every time there's a toy that comes to our house, I jot down what toy came from June of last year.
All right, I'm trusting that whatever toy you started with, I got in June and is till now because I feel like it'll be some astronomical amount.
It is an astronomical amount. So before I go on, I just want to say that I am super supportive of your hobby. I love it. I think that's one of the reasons why I fell in love with you, because of your collection. So even though I say this amount, it is a crazy amount. I don't care.
I fell back in my chair.
What did you say?
I almost fell back in my chair as I was praising that you were saying that. I fell back. No, I appreciate that. I love that you say that.
You know that I love your collection. I love your lightsaber collection, your mounts and all of that. So anyways, I'm not mad, but it's pretty crazy. So the first toy from June is Sauron.
The Mouth of Sauron. So if anybody doesn't know, The Mouth of Sauron by Osmus Toys, I purchased in June, being the first toy of what I got over the year span. So, okay, awesome. And I just sold that. You know what? What a perfect touching start to this conversation. I just sold that the other day. So I had it for 1 year. That'll be part of my defense. It's going to be part of my defense.
But that's irrelevant because we're talking about the toys you've bought in the past year, not the toys you've sold. So as I go on, let's stick to the topic here. Sauron was number one. And then from June to today, you have bought 56 toys.
Okay. Whoa, hopefully you didn't offend anybody calling them by toys.
Sorry, 56 hot figure toys or 6 skills toys.
Okay, so 56 since June to now, 56. Believe it or not, before you even get to the price, that's not that bad, 56.
It's not so bad if these were Hasbro toys. I agree. These toys are upper scale, and they're not actual toys. They're to display, so they're pretty high class toys.
All right, so 56. Do you want me to drum roll you, or are you going to, or are you going to say anything else before you go to the video?
I need you to tell me an average because I know these toys. I didn't actually calculate how much each toys are. So I need an average.
The average, $75.
Okay. I may look like a dummy, but I am not a dummy. I know they're way over 75. I should think so. They're like 275, 175 to like maybe 120 to like 420.
To be honest, I would say on average, you're right. 75 was lowballing it. 96 to 112.
No way. There's no way. Toys, the six-figure toys are $96. No way.
All right. No joking aside, on average, out of 56 figures, the number that comes to mind would be 200. Because some of them probably crossed the mark. So maybe we roll with $185. Indiana Jones and some of those ones that I got recently were $150 shipped. So you have someone's going to pull that average down, and I can't remember the last one.
Okay, well, let's just do 185 to be fair. And 185 times 56 toys, we got $10,360 in 1 year. And everyone, let's just say we're not rich. We're probably lower mid-class family. $10,360 in 1 year.
So $10,000 I spent in 1 year. You got me. You pinned me right there, right? You said that this is not about what I spent, but it is about what I sold as well. Because I spent $10,000, I was able to balance that based off of what I sold. Recently, if you remember, I sold my trooper lot, which was probably 30 to, if not 50, Star Wars troopers. Now, let's put my wife aside for a second. If you're familiar with Sideshow and Star Wars troopers, you know I probably made quite a bit of money off selling 50 troopers. So I make money, and it's almost like a recycled. Everything I do, I get back. Everything I sell, I get back. So I didn't spend $10,000. I actually made $11,200 and spent a portion of what I made. Does that make sense?
That makes no sense whatsoever.
Okay.
Unless you've had a separate account just for your Hot Toys or your six scale figures. If you had a separate account and then you were, strategically selling and buying from that account, that would make sense. But that's not the case. We are talking about $10,360 that has actually been deducted from our bank account, and what has been deposited. I don't know. You know what
Absolutely.
I mean?
You got me. Street profits. You got me. But $10,000 might have been deducted over our bank account over the past year, but maybe $11,000 was pumped in via PayPal over all the things I sold. I just sold the past few days, what, $1,500? Like that. So I'm not really spending $10,000. It's almost like I'm investing so I can make back the money to then spend it again to then put it on my shelves. Does that make sense? What I'm doing is more like an investment.
That doesn't make sense whatsoever.
Yeah, some of the figures I buy, I'm like, you know what? I don't even. You know what?
Your argument is irrelevant because you don't have the facts in front of us or in front of me right now. Irrelevant. So we shall make another stream show of how much you've actually sold.
Of actually how much I sold? I already know how much. 15,000.
15. Oh, really?
I made that up. Totally made that up.
Okay.
All right. Well, we can go on and on about that, but the fact of the matter is, I spent $10,000, but I will argue to the end that I probably equally made as much selling over the past year. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. You can shake your head. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying.
You got to prove yourself. I don't believe it.
Let's switch to. So the only reason I wanted to bring this up is because it genuinely irritates me that everybody is raving about this. Now, as my wife, I will stress that anybody watching this, she's not just going to say what I want and doesn't have the exact same opinion just because I'm saying it. So I just want to stress that. But, before I say it, because I don't think I showed you exactly this teed up, my opinion on this is these two look horrible from one another. The one on the left, it genuinely reminds me of, like, if he was at a 1960s jazz concert, like with a cigarette and stuff, with his hair slicked back and the mustache and stuff like that. So I just want to know, do you think that these could do you think this head sculpt is matching to this right here, the actual picture of him?
The actual picture, probably not. But he in The Mandalorian looked like he was plucked out of a 60s jazz club. and right into Mandalorian. Like he had that slick hair, except for his suit and everything. But yeah, he looks like he needs a cigar in his between his lips. And
so if we're looking at the head sculpt to the left, to you, what would you rate it?
I don't think it looks bad. I would rate it 6.4.
Okay, we're in the same realm, though. I was probably thinking more of 5.7 out of 10. So we're very close, as always. But you're still in that same realm of a 6.4. So when you're saying 6.4, that's a great point to then stress and segue. Everybody was raving about this. I just watched the cast recently. They're all raving about this thing, saying it's spot on, spot on. So I don't know if you've seen it recently, and I probably didn't show you because we don't have it, but the Tamora Morrison head sculpt from Boba Fett looked insane. So it's like, well, if you're going to rate that a 9, a 9-ish and stuff, well, then how the hell are you going to say this is an 8? Because this does not come even close to that one. Do you remember that one from the Mandalorian series?
No.
It's okay. That's okay. That's the point of this, is we want to be candid with everything. But anyways, that was I did mention it to several other people. The head sculpt with Boba Fett from the Mandalorian series, and let's just bring it up really quickly here. Sideshow is going to be the fastest way that I know to bring it up here. Now, I think that the 2-pack looks insane. In fact, I would go as far as saying this is probably one of the best head sculpts I've seen in a long time. Now, can you see that clearly, or do I need to zoom in more?
No, that looks good. Yeah, he looks great.
Yeah, I mean, that one to me was just one of the best head sculpts. Look at that right there.
Yeah, that's fantastic.
I mean, what the hell? That is plucked straight from the show. So people saying that I'm not going to say his name, but we have a buddy of mine that maybe had said that the Moff Gideon was an 8 or an 8.2 or something. And I'm like, well, if he's an 8.2, the hell are you rating this thing? This must be shooting off the scale. Because this, in my mind, right off the bat, I'll be curious your opinion. This is a 9.2. I mean, with
I agree.
Lens, that might be indistinguishable between real.
Yeah, I agree. I think it helps too that he doesn't have hair. I think a lot of the head sculpts, the hair makes a huge difference. In Moff Gideon, the fact that his hair is like plastic and it looks like shiny and stuff, I think that's where the points get deducted for me, my opinion.
Yeah, actually, that's a really good point because we have a double whammy with the hair. Not only does he have the hair on top of him, which is shiny. You're right, on the head sculpts, when it's sculpted, it's a little more shiny. He has the 1960s mustache, I think these head sculpts, I don't know, it's doo-doo in my opinion. When you hit the 5.7 category, you're kind of saying you can't suggest this head sculpt, and I would think that it would get discounted eventually, in my opinion. But yeah, I don't know. And I do want to stress to anybody, my wife and I, on all decisions of purchases, were like, hey, should we get this? Should we not? My wife was the one that said no way on this one. So we held back on this purchase. There's something about this Moff Gideon purchase that we said it doesn't belong in our collection. On top of that, he wasn't really, as you mentioned, that menacing of a character. I thought he was, in the end, the Mandalorian beat the crap out of him, within 5-10 minutes. So everything he did, you got the Mando that just beats the hell out of him. So I don't know if you agree.
No, of course, I totally agree. The only thing cool about him in the show was that he had the dark saber, and that's it.
Remember I told you that? I was like, that's the only reason I wanted to buy it is because he has the dark saber. I mean that. It was only the reason I wanted to get him was because he has the dark saber. And because he was a menacing character. I think I forget his name. I'm going to butcher it if I say it, but obviously we watched him in Breaking Bad. He's an insanely good actor. Absolutely. And I thought he was great in Mandalorian too. So he's a really good actor. But just something about the character in the end. He got beaten the crap out of by the Mandalorian, and he almost pissed his pants when he saw Luke Skywalker. So he almost turned into a little, dare I say, a little bitch at the end there. So anyways, that's my opinion. All right, I'm going to move on to anything else you want to say on this?
No, not at all.
All right, I'm going to move on. Buy or pass. So as I just want to stress anybody watching and stuff, as we've kind of figure out format and stuff, I had originally done a buyer pass specific episode. We might just kind of incorporate that. I want to make sure my wife is, we are doing this together every time. So I think we'll incorporate the buyer pass into our episodes as best as we can. And I guess what better to start? You can see this okay?
Yeah, I see it.
Let me figure out a good one. I guess this is a good one to start right here with Gandalf. Let me preface this. You still see this? Okay, yeah. Let me preface by just saying, who the hell wanted this? I mean, in my opinion, out of all the franchises we have out there, who the hell wanted Gandalf? And forgive me for pinning you on this. I want to also make sure my wife has this information. There's been several companies that made a Gandalf. Osmus made the Crown Series $350 Gandalf recently, within the past year or so. So it's kind of like, do we really need company to make a Gandalf and a Gandalf and a better Gandalf and a Gandalf? And then out of all those characters, Gandalf? I don't give a crap about Gandalf, and I'm going to put you on the spot. How much do you even know about Gandalf?
I honestly don't know much, but I know there's a huge following with Lord of the Rings and the book and everything. So I can see why fans would want Gandalf. Like, isn't he one of the main characters?
He's one of the main characters, but I got to think from a business perspective. If he's been done recently, let's just say for the sake of conversation, out of 100 people, if he's been done recently, out of 100 people, maybe 30, 20 to 30 already purchased him, right? So then you re-release him, which is clearly way better. Obviously, this looks freaking insane. It looks next level good. But out of those people, you're then targeting to get the ones that already bought him, and then maybe people that think that the other one wasn't good enough. So those people will then go ahead and purchase him. So from a business standpoint, I couldn't imagine. And let me make sure this too, my love. InArt Studios is kind of the new Hot Toys, right? They're a subdivision of something called Queen Studios. They're a brand new studio. They chose to make the Joker as their first one, which we pre-ordered. As I showed you, there was two Jokers that we pre-ordered, and this is the second figure they're making. If this is the second figure you're gonna announce, I don't know. Out of the thousands of characters out there, you couldn't have told me there was a better one to choose. And forgive me for talking too long. Go ahead.
Isn't there a new show coming out from Amazon or something?
There is the Rings of Power. I'm excited for it. Based off of the preview, that's another rant we could go on. The preview made it look a little bit like a CW show. Very bright, vibrant. It didn't have the same vibe as the movies did. However, Gandalf is not in that series. So maybe they're just capitalizing on the Lord of the Rings name, and the IP of it. But I don't know what to say. $550. Now, let's stress, and I'll speak for the both of us when I say we are going to get this. We want to get it. We want to see it. We want to have it in hand. We want to review it. But I couldn't imagine out of 100 people, I'll be curious of you, out of 100 people, how many think people are going to buy this?
I'd say 40.
For $550?
I think so. Because like I said, I think Lord of the Rings have a really strong fandom. There's a lot of people that are really into it. And even though maybe they released it before, maybe there's a better version, maybe they didn't have money before, they can finally find it and buy it now. I don't know. But it looks nice. I want it just because it looks nice.
You're above my optimism on this. I would think that it would be almost like in the 20% range. You're alienating a lot of people by the price. When you're in the $550 range, which some sites probably have them around $600, you're in the statue range. So if I came to you and said, hey, I can get a Vader that's really detailed, 1/6 scale for $500 or $600, or we can get a big statue of Vader. And I want your honesty on this. Would you choose the big statue for $600 or the very detailed 1/6 scale? I have a feeling I know your answer, but I'm not going to say it out loud. You say it first.
I think I'd go for the statue.
Boom! I know my wife. I knew you were going to say the statue. $600, a little bit bigger, sculpted into place, maybe even more of a presence. I swear I thought you would say the statue as well. So kind of that same thing again. Gandalf, you can get a statue for $600 or this highly detailed figure. You know, and I got a note too while we're on the face sculpt here. There were people saying that this face sculpt looks bad. What world are we living in? We just came from Moff Gideon saying it looks like the best face sculpt ever to Gandalf looking bad. This looks real to me. Are you kidding me? Right? Or am I crazy?
No, he looks absolutely real. That's why I want it. Even though I'm not into him, I would pay the $550 because he looks effing fantastic.
When I showed you the other day, and I mean this, I swear to God, we're not messing around, everybody. You thought that it was either a real picture or Photoshop. Do you remember I showed you that really? And you were like, what is that? How do you know that? You said something like, how do you know that that's real? So you challenged the fact that that was even a real head sculpt. So for anybody to say that this is a bad head sculpt, you're out of your goddamn minds. I mean, yeah, we're paying a little bit extra for it, but holy crap, that looks absolutely real. If you're a good photographer, I mean, like I said, you're going to knock it out of the park with your figure or your photos on this thing. So, all right, let's scoop on to now. I'm sure this one's really going to excite you. Oh, hold on here. Can you see this here? The Riddler.
Yeah.
Okay. So there's two versions of the Riddler out here, right? That just came out at the same time. See if we can get this one to load. Come on, internet. If only you knew. Please don't fail us now, internet. There we go. Now, I guess I'll ask you which one, because I'm 100% going to get one of these. Let me preface by saying we had three options of the Riddler from the new Robert Pattinson Batman movie. My wife didn't like it. I hate to throw you under the bus. She wasn't a fan of it. There's three options. Out of the three, the first one was a customization for $550. You probably would have killed me if I bought that, so I didn't go with the $550 version. I held off. Now, we don't have the $550 version as the only option anymore. We have both of these, which are one. Oh, let's get rid of Gandalf so I don't keep screwing up. We have both of these that are $150 shipped, which I think is a fantastic price. Can you even really spot the difference? I'm going to go back and forth real quick. Ready? Scoodle-ba, bow, a boom, scoodle-boo. Dude, can you even spot the difference?
Not really, but the first one looks better than the second. I think because of the picture quality.
You think this one looks better?
Yeah.
So interestingly, you say, I think this one did look better. And let me bring open this picture purely because of the face sculpt on it. Let's see if we can find there we go, a close one here. Can you see this pretty detailed? We have this head sculpt on what's called the Yan toys. Now, I'm going to go ultra nerdy. Yan Toys, I believe, is some, whatever the hell we want to call it, subdivision of Daft Toys. Daft Toys is fantastic quality. Now, we have several Daft Toys within our DTOF right now. I won't go down that rabbit hole of which ones, but we have lots of Batman Daft Toys, outfits, and 1/6 figures in our collection right now. So the fact that Yan Toys is a subdivision of Daft Toys, it gives me a little bit more confidence that this one's going to be good. Switching over to the one that I agree now looks better. This one's called Fleet Lane Studio. I mean, did you guys just smoke a little reefer and come up with that off the blue? Fleet Lane Studio. I don't know if they're, again, some subdivision or whatever, but this one to me looks way better. And again, you pinpointed that as well. This one looks better. The face sculpt looks a little bit better. The glasses and stuff on this one. But both of them are the exact same price. So I don't know if you could really go wrong with one over the other. I don't know if you have any other opinion on this one.
I think I'd rather buy from the company that you know more of, the subdivision of Daft Toys versus this other company. Right?
Which leaves us into wait, is that the name of this guy? Whoa! Couldn't have teed this one up better. I guess that leads us into a conundrum. I think this one looks better. Before we end up pulling the trigger, we'll talk about it in more detail. The only thing that I think it would end up boiling down to would be a roll of the dice. Something about the mask on this one stood out to me a little bit more. And as I brought the pictures up, this was the one that stood out to you more as well versus the Ian Toys. However, being that we know that Ian Toys is good quality, I don't know if it's a tough call either way. The last thing that I would preface in saying that anybody watching and curious about, will Hot Toys come out with one of these? Maybe. Based off of the brutality of the character, my opinion is no. I guess Pennywise messed people up pretty bad, but you'll agree, Riddler was brutal in the movie. I mean, kind of next level brutal. So I don't think Hot Toys is going to get into the Riddler line. And then to add to that next levels, you know, I might be going down some stupid rabbit hole just because of his brutality. What are we, 2 years away? If Hot Toys was to, hey, little mini Casey Toys, the future of Casey Toys. Once I pass away, this guy will be the future voice of the channel.
That won't happen for a very long time. So
I guess that's a really odd thing to say, but
that was super depressing.
You'll agree, Hot Toys lead time and stuff, if they were to even announce something like this, we're looking at 2 years. Would it be worth waiting 2 years for their quality and at $300 most likely versus 6 months and $150? Absolutely not. I'd just be curious on your opinion on that.
Get it for $150 because I don't care for the guy.
Exactly. Yeah. You don't care. It's less price. And I would honestly say, and I'd back you up, if you had a Hot Toys, this Yan Toys, and whatever, what was the weird company name on this one? Fleet Lane Studios, all on the shelf with one another. To the untrained eye, I highly doubt anybody would notice the difference of one another. So let's go to I'm going to go through this one quick. The only reason being is I feel like everybody blasted through this guy on the group. So you might not realize, but this is the Vulture from Spider-Man Far From Home, played by Michael Keaton. Now, previous to this, there was a company, see if I can bring open a better picture. Previous to this, there was a company called Jazz Incorporated. They did a 1/6 scale version of this. However, I would consider Jazz Incorporated more on the lines of a custom company. And the reason I would stress it like that is, and forgive me, I hope that I could work with Jazz one day. I think that, I think that comment's been up the whole time, so forgive me on that. I think that they charged around $800, maybe $900. Sorry, forgive me, $800 or $900. I could be wrong, $700, anywhere between that range. This thing's coming out in the $350 range. Now, one of the most fantastic characters from the Spider-Man movies recently, obviously Michael Keaton, an icon to anybody in the kind of the geek business. Batman, now in these amazing Marvel movies. So fantastic that we're coming out with these two new versions of it. As I mentioned, I don't think everybody has the money to drop $800, $700 on something like this. We now have the option of the Toys era, and I think the other one was Eternal Toys. Come on, Kit. You got this on here somewhere. It's somewhere on here. Eternal Toys, Air Predator. I don't think you could go wrong with one or the other. I'm going to be really brutally honest, and I don't want to put you on the spot because I think even, my wife, if I say which one do you, she's not even going to really have too much of a preference on the two. You can even nod your head as we're talking right now. I don't know if you have a preference on the two of the Air Predators. They're both going to be a good choice. The only thing I want to stress to anybody watching, Toys era has I don't want to say fantastic history, but has a good history of 1/6 scale figures. So if you want to go with somebody that has a track record and that you can put your money on, Toys era is the way to go. Not only that, this is going extra geek level. They released something today, and I wish I had the picture of it, that showed the scale of their wings that they had originally announced. They're increasing the scale of the wings and saying, hey, we heard you. So they're increasing the scale of the wings. What better than a company that's actually listening to you, hearing the feedback of their fans, and then going that extra step and increasing the size of the wings. Look at this Casey wife window over here. There's more babies just increasing over here. If we had more kids, we have 5 kids, so technically they could just keep coming and coming at every which angle. They could, who knows when they'll show up. But anyway, I think Toys R Us is the way to go. As we're saying this, they heard the fans, they've changed things. I don't know that Eternal Toys has that connection and communication with their fans that's willing to hear that feedback and change things along the production route. So let's go with the Toys R Us on this one. I think I started by saying I'm not sure which way to go, but Toys R Us is the way to go. Go ahead.
My only concern is like the big wings. Is that what they're called? The wings.
They're freaking huge.
Yeah, like if you were to stand it up, like I hope they make a stand that'll be able to support that weight. You know what I mean?
So not only is that a fantastic comment, it's a great segue. As I mentioned, Toys R Us said, "Oh, we heard your feedback. We increased the size of the wings." Now, let's really put in perspective and pick on the people that bitched and complained. As you're saying, we're already concerned about the size of the wings. Imagine being that guy that's like, whoa, they're 6 centimeters off from the way they should be in real life. It's like, we should be more concerned about the way it's going to fit in our dioramas and our shelves versus the accuracy of these things in the movie. I could give a crap less about the accuracy, because if it's accurate, as you're mentioning, this thing's going to be freaking huge. I guarantee you, it'll span several DTOFs. Street Profits. This is going to span several DTOFs. So the question is, who has the space for this thing? But at $350, believe it or not, I think it's a good price point. I'm going to try to sneak this one in under the radar. I'll do a review so my wife doesn't know I purchased this one at $350, and I can say the average is $200. But anyways, Toys R Us is the way to go. Anything else you want to say on this one, my love?
No.
Okay. Now, hold on. Do we have only one more, 2 more? Oh, yeah. I think I'm just going to go for this one more here, but this one's going to be funny. Now, I'm not picking on you when we do this. You got to tell everybody who plays Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Damn it! Who plays the Terminator? Who plays the Terminator?
I thought it was Mel Gibson.
No. What the hell, Mel Gibson? You didn't even say that.
They look alike. I think so. They look kind of alike, and they were like in the prime at the same time. So
I love you so much. Not only was that funny, she told me Bruce Willis, and then it switches to Mel Gibson. You're all over the place. Bruce Willis and Mel Gibson.
They're all for the same timeline, like the 90s. They were super popular in the 90s.
And they were all in action movies, so I'm not going to hammer you too much, but hey, listen, Mel Gibson could have pulled off a Terminator. Bruce Willis could have pulled off a Terminator. So I'm not gonna knock you too much. It's funny you went from Bruce Willis to Mel Gibson. Mel Gibson was what the hell was that movie with the my God, with
What Women Want?
No, listen, Mel Gibson's been in a lot of movies, but the one I always think of was when he was the Scottish warrior. Do you remember that one? He was some Scottish warrior. Braveheart. Now that was a Mel Gibson movie. They have a Braveheart 1/6 out, something we can consider down the line. But this has nothing to do with Mel Gibson, and this has nothing to do with Braveheart. This is the complete opposite realm of Braveheart. This is the Terminator Future Warrior by Present Toys. Now, again, buy or pass on these things. I don't think I've kind of dived into that too much. I just want to stress, anybody would be goddamn crazy to not pick this up. The Hot Toys version of this will run you $400, somewhere around there. This is going to run you $180. You know what? I'm always crazy. It's on Kit's site right now. Oh, $200. Still, I really mean it. For $200, I think that's a real leather jacket on here. I think the head sculpt, if this comes out like this, that head sculpt is spot on to a young Arnold Schwarzenegger, not a young Mel Gibson or Bruce Willis. A young Arnold Schwarzenegger. And then I think also it comes with a minigun. I mean, the minigun is price of admission alone. That's got to be a $40, $30, customization item right there. So you'd be crazy not to get the Terminator the Future Warrior by Present Toys. I'm sure I have your blessing on this one. You don't know too much about Terminator, but we are talking about one of the most classic films of all time. And I also can go on a rant to say the choice of Inark/Queen Studios to go with Gandalf over the Terminator or Predator or some of these other classic movies is just mind-boggling. However, that could be a totally biased opinion. They're a business decision company. Maybe they just said, we're going to sell way more Gandalfs than we would Terminator. And Present Toys said, we're going to pick up the Terminator. So anyways, Terminator, you'd be crazy to not go with this. That is Arnold Schwarzenegger right there. Any other opinions on this?
No, he looks good.
Right? Doesn't that look pretty good right there?
Yeah, definitely. He doesn't look like that anymore, but he looks good.
He doesn't look like that anymore. No, he looks much different. And my God, it's funny. We were just talking about it the other day. The most recent Terminator movie was just awful. Awful. I can go on a rant about that, but if anybody has seen it, please be with me. He was serving beer. The Terminator was serving beer. Terminators don't serve beer. Anyways, awful movie, but this is based off of part 1, James Cameron. Amazing movie. James Cameron's Avatar 2 is coming out soon as well. Fantastic director. Anyways. And then lastly, I just kind of wanted to show. I feel like you said we shouldn't get these, but
no, I said we should, but I just don't like the joints. The joints look so Hasbro, but I love Sub-Zero.
I can't believe I don't know what they were thinking with the joints on this thing. What's your opinion on this holding the head skull? Is that cool or cheesy?
No, I thought Sub-Zero had no pupils.
Oh, that's smart, actually. Yeah, you mean he always had those white eyes?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, you're right. I'm like that is weird. Yeah. That they should have had a swappable head sculpt or something on that, because you're right. I was more talking about this. What do we call it? Iced head sculpt. Is this cool?
That's his finish. What is it called? A finisher?
It's cool to you though?
I think so. In the game, he did that.
I don't know why. This is why people probably hate me and always just bash on me. I think it looks a little cheesy, and then maybe because the neck piece would be that big, it looks like it's protruding out along the hand. It just doesn't look like he's grabbing it properly. It just, I don't know. As being a little granular on it.
It looks like he's crushing it.
Yeah, but see how it's popping out on the sides here? It should be completely enclosed with the hand and crushing it. Something about the way he's holding it. It looks, as you would actually say, I'll piggyback off your comment, a little Hasbro-ish. It looks like it's just being kind of crushed in the hand. Like, you know what I mean? You crush it and open up the hand to hold that ice skull. I think there should have been a better way for him to hold it. Or you move it down a little bit to a skinnier part of the ice. Does that make sense? Or am I just being anal?
I think you're being too anal. I think what makes it Hasbro is just the joints. Like that joints, it looks horrible. Now I don't want to get it.
Yeah, that is brutal right there. Hold on, let me see if I can move over can you see? Oh, hold on. Yeah, you see that right there? So that's hardcore. I'm with you. However, let's go from that picture to, let me go back real quick.
I think some people don't care. Like, wasn't there one with Harley?
I wanted to show you like this. Like, if depending on the stance you put him in. If we put him in a stance like this, or maybe, well, he doesn't have a sword. I was saying holding a sword or some type of weapon, it will cover the joints properly. So I think depending on the stance you put him in, because if you take the joints out of the equation, I think that looks freaking crazy. I mean, the eye, or dare we call this face sculpt or whatever ish, looks great. Great tailoring. I think it really looks like a cool figure. And I don't want to pinpoint when I say this. You might not think about things like this, but in my opinion, the body sculpt on this looks totally custom, meaning the company Storm Collectibles completely made this on their own. almost like making their own engine for a video game or something like that. You know what I mean? So I think that adds a little bit to the value, but I don't know what the hell these guys were thinking about these joints. What do you think?
I think some people like it.
The joints like this?
Yeah, or they don't really care or don't notice it.
I think don't really care, but one thing that I always bark about, and you probably agree with me, it adds to the longevity. If this was the seamless, and you're bending it back and forth, it could tear. I mean, this guy could last probably forever in your shelves. I don't see any leather. I don't really see anything on this could start peeling and getting destroyed. So you really have to think about that too, longevity wise. You might be, and this guy's got a premium. You're gonna probably be like, what? 260. That to me, yeah, right? Did I see your eyes open a little bit? 260 is high on this, and I swear I'll go goddamn crazy. I'm thinking this now as we're looking. Usually these last pictures are like, hey, what comes with it? You're not going to include a stand for $260 goddamn dollars, right? Am I crazy?
No, you're completely right.
I mean, man, we'll still get it, but I would bash them left and right. Storm Collectibles, I think they might have some other 6 scale. I could be 100% wrong, but they're mainly they do different scale. I'm gonna probably get bash myself and get wrong whatever scale they do. I don't know what the hell they do, but they do not do 1/6 scale as much as they do other scaled products. The reason I say that, maybe they're not knowledgeable enough in the 1/6 scale market to know that, hey, we should include a stand with all these guys. So that would just be the last thing that I would think. Storm Collectibles, include a stand. What are we, freshmen? Clearly you are freshmen, but you would agree with me. Every 1/6 scale figure should come with a stand. They'll fall eventually in our DTOFs and stuff. And then not to mention, almost 90% of our figures already have stands. So why would I want this in my DTOF as the only guy who doesn't have a stand? It would look stupid. So I don't know if you agree with me.
Custom stands. I'm sure there's a lot of awesome people that make custom stands for it.
Rocky Funko. Hold on, don't I have it right here? Look at this. This is good timing to plug this guy right here. Woohoo! This guy makes amazing custom stands. But the fact of the matter is, for $260 and then to go out and do that, good timing. That's starting to chime up right now. I think is a lot of money. So we're hitting our mark on this. This is the buyer pass. It's definitely a buy for us. I think you would agree, right? We're going to buy it, but I'm going to probably hit it hard if I say we get this and there's no stand. That's crazy. I don't know if you have any other thoughts.
I'd say pass. Hard pass.
Pass? I thought you said you wanted us to get the Scorpion and the Sub-Zero.
But I didn't see his joints until you showed me right now. I don't like it.
Yeah, I feel like maybe for review purposes, we should get one of them. As I've said, there are some points on him where you can cover it up. If you get him into some classic poses there. So right there.
You're notorious for museum poses. You would never leave him like that.
No, I'm notorious for museum because they usually have some suit that's covering up their arms that could damage it. If this guy is just exposed joints, but I can keep him, constantly in some pose, that's
We're
different
saying
in my opinion.
$260 and we need him in a specific pose to hide joints. Like that kind of tells you something. Hard pass.
Or the opposite. Maybe because he has exposed joints and there's no cloth, he's one of the few figures that we can have in some cool pose. So that's something to throw back at you.
You can actually play with him because he has joints.
I am. I'm going to do Sub-Zero moves. So, yes. All right. Let's sign off here for today. Anything else you have on this?
No.
Okay. All right. We'll hone in on this format a little bit better. Hey, Legamus, whatever his name is, we appreciate whatever the hell you said earlier. You the man for being the only guy commented today. And that's it for us today. KC, Toy Review. See you guys next time!